What we see now during the war is that that the tolerance of corrupt behavior among Ukrainians is lower than ever before.
As of today, I really want us to be transparent. I want us to publish everything, to highlight everything. However, unfortunately, war has made its amendments, and having partnership with many cities of the world, with many countries, it is very important to be able to make and to show and to bring information from the point of view of transparency of use and resources.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center, an NGO Euro-Atlantic course, and I'm your host, Myroslava Yaremkiv. The full-scale war started by Russia has demonstrated that decentralization in Ukraine works. It was the possibility and ability of local authorities to independently make critical and quick decisions that helped many cities withstand the initial attacks and somehow improve the lives of their residents. Transparency is a necessary condition for stability, development, and efficiency, particularly during wartime. In times of limited resources, increasing challenges, and growing demographic challenges, it is crucial to be adaptive, efficient, transparent, and accountable. These elements are not only essential for our survival and stability, but also for successfully navigating the path towards the European Union. In today's episode, we're going to discuss the state of transparency in cities during a full-scale war and how to improve it. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our videos in the future. In 2023, 5 cities received the status of transparent: Dnipro, Drogobich, Lviv, Mukachevo, and Ternopil. 23 cities became partially transparent and the remaining 52 non-transparent. Even in difficult wartime conditions, the cities managed to make some progress. Among the 70 city councils that participated in the 2022 and 2023 studies, 30 improved their transparency levels by 5% or more. Head of the EU Anti-Corruption Initiative, Allan Pagh Christensen, will talk more about this program and its achievements.
Thanks to TI, Transparency International Ukraine, for once again producing a high-quality study on transparent cities in Ukraine. I think your work has become a very important piece of guidance for the local authorities on how to become more transparent, and your ranking of cities is, I think, also providing a sound competition between the cities that want to, from year to year, see how they progress and compare with each other. We often see a link between more transparency, less corruption. Because with transparency, you often close some gaps for corruption in the city administrations. And therefore, for us working with anti-corruption, the whole issue of transparency and how to measure transparency is a very important factor. Within our program, we are working with 6 cities in Ukraine: Mykolaiv, Mariupol, Nikopol, Chernivtsi, Chervonograd, and Zhytomyr. They're all bigger cities, and they're all to different extent influenced by the war. Mariupol, of course, not much we can do there at the moment. Hoping and looking forward to coming back one day. Nikopol, a very difficult security situation. But despite that, there are things we are doing in Nikopol, and we are, very impressed by the brave officials of Nikopol that are still working there. Mykolaiv, where we now have our biggest engagement, focusing on reconstruction and how to ensure that reconstruction will take place with respect for transparency, integrity, accountability. And then we have, of course, Zhytomyr, Chervonograd, Chernivtsi, cities that perhaps are less influenced by the war, but anyway, they all have quite a number of internally displaced persons, and also in other fields they are, of course, influenced by what is happening and the context. What we do within our integrity city concept is that we provide support integrity tools to the cities to help them optimize their procedures and processes. We help them develop what we call municipal integrity plans that are then adopted by the city councils. We facilitate the involvement of citizens in decision making, and we are providing tools in order to enhance transparency, including some important digital platforms. I would say that despite the war and all the challenges facing cities of Ukraine, we are quite impressed with the progress that is being done there in terms of transparency and preventing corruption, and I believe that is also what we will see from the study that is going to be presented today, that there is progress to see. One of the mayors we are working with told me once that, how can we expect to receive all the international aid we need if we don't do all we can to prevent corruption and create more transparency? And I think many mayors are probably thinking, having the same thoughts about the need to work more on preventing corruption. But of course, it's not only a question of pleasing international donors or investors. What we see now during the war is that the tolerance of corrupt behavior among Ukrainians is lower than ever before. And I'm sure that local authorities also can feel that there's a higher demand for transparency, demand for preventing corruption, much more than we saw in the past.
Undoubtedly, in the conditions of a full-scale war, Ukrainian local authorities cannot maintain the pre-war level of transparency in their work. This is influenced by a number of factors related to wartime restrictions. And let's face it, for the past 26 months, local authorities have been facing unprecedented 24-hour challenges. The safety of citizens has obviously become the main task, which cannot be balanced with the issue of transparency. Mayor of Okhtyrka, Pavlo Kuzmenko, will share the city's experience with transparency amidst constant threats of shelling.
Unfortunately, as of today, we need in our frontline city, and it's not just the city of Okhtyrka, but all the frontline cities, we have to stick to the balance between what we can say and what we cannot say. A balance between what we should say and what is demanded from us to be said. This balance and this demand about balance, it is holding each head of community or of the city in tension. It requires double and even triple involvement from each of us. As of today, I really want us to be transparent. I want us to publish everything, to highlight and everything. However, unfortunately, the war has made its amendments, and on the 24th of February 2022, there was a decision that we are recording, if possible, all our meetings, and we are doing the broadcasting with a delay in time. That is regarding all the meetings of executive committees and all the sessions of Okhtyrka City Council and any other meetings that we are holding during even air raids. However, we need to work. We can't stop. And all the time we have to stick to this balance. Of course, we do want our people to be participants of all of those processes that are happening in our community, the processes of rebuilding, building, defense, etc., etc. However, many challenges came together with the war, and it's impossible as of today to publish the things regarding defense. We can't publish things regarding treatment of militaries. And a lot of things are done in this direction. We cannot publish some things regarding rebuilding of critical infrastructure. And these are all the issues that we have almost during every our meeting and meeting of executive committee and city council. Again, we have to stick to this balance.
An essential prerequisite for cooperation with international partners during reconstruction is once again transparency and accountability of the authorities. Moreover, the demand for transparency and accountability during the country's recovery becomes even more urgent as it directly affects investments in the implementation of joint reconstruction projects. And local residents, like potential investors, are also interested in understanding the procedure for restoring certain objects in their cities. Mayor of Lviv, Sadovyi, will talk more about that.
During the war, corruption, it's not okay, and everybody on their places should do everything to minimize the process. And today we have a lot of information, a lot of media, and there are some things that are like throwing you into rage, so to say. So thank you very much, and I'm really pleased that there are such things, because now we understand our personal responsibility, because it's impossible like that today you have some requirements to Lviv or to Kherson or Mykolaiv, because Lviv is more safe. And today we have a mission, so to say. First of all, it's a huge number of refugees, of IDPs, and here is the issue of employment, children go to school, medical support, etc. So fortunately, we have some things. We know that military situation is not easy today in our country. The second big block that we have is, of course, helping the wounded, because every day we are accepting the wounded. Just our municipality, 17,000 of wounded. Those are children, adults, and of course our warriors. Therefore, in the framework of AVCO's system, we have the whole cycle built. These are both qualitative surgery on a good level, production of prostheses, because we are increasing capacity in our production all the time. That is rehabilitation, physical and psychological. And here, it is worth mentioning that any physical rehabilitation without psychological rehabilitation is of no effect. That is a living space for the wounded. That is work for those who had the treatment, who had undertaken the treatment. That is arts, that is working with survivors of tortures. So those who had seen that in Lviv with their own eyes, they can understand how uneasy it is. The city head of Okhtyrka, he was at our place, he can confirm that. And I was offering, dear colleagues, all the participants of today's discussion, I would offer you to come to Lviv one more time. I would like to show you all of that and to tell you about all of that. Why? Because each team should have certain stage, rehabilitation stage. If there are medical institutions, relevant medical institutions, you need to understand the specifics of today's time. And we have the opportunity to do that, because it's not that often that we have shellings. But even when we are shelled and our civilians are being killed, we find the opportunities, and we find somehow a chance to rebuild all of that. And having partnership with many cities of the world, with many countries, it is very important to be able to make and to show and to bring information from the point of view of transparency, of use and resources and different types of support. That is what we are trying to do. And we are quite succeeding, I dare say. And like every week we have some residency for different communities. That is medical residency, architecture, economical, ecological, international residency. We are inviting to Lviv for 3 or up to 4 days representatives of the communities. And we are showing them how during the war we are handling difficult cases with certain examples.
You've been watching a special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!